A promotion, a lie, and a camera I shouldn't have checked. My name is Marcus Reed. Not long ago, I moved to a nearby city with my wife, Eliza, and our son, Aiden. The move was prompted by a long-awaited promotion. I had spent years working as a regular software developer, but now I was stepping into a leadership role, head of the technical support department at a mid-sized tech firm. It came with a spacious private office, a generous pay raise, and a team of 20 skilled people reporting to me. It felt like life had finally clicked into place. For the first time in years, I wasn't buried in code or chained to late nights at the office. I had time. Time for myself, for my hobbies, and most importantly, for my family. Eliza and I had been together for over 5 years by then. We were college sweethearts. Met in a computer science class, where she was one of the few women in the department. We hit it off almost immediately. After graduation, we got married. A year later, Aiden was born. Our little family felt picture perfect. I loved my wife deeply. She loved me, or so I thought. And we both adored our son. When Aiden was born, Eliza took maternity leave. Eventually, we agreed she didn't need to rush back to work. I was earning well enough to support us comfortably, and I wanted her to be free to pursue anything that brought her joy. She dabbled in hobbies, helped at Aiden's preschool, took yoga classes. It felt like a shared dream, a peaceful life, a happy home, and a promising career. But after we moved, something changed. You'd think more time at home would mean more closeness, more laughter, more shared moments. But instead, cracks started forming. Little arguments would explode from nothing. Misunderstandings about the smallest things. I'd come home excited to tell her about my day, and where once she'd listen with warmth and curiosity, now she seemed distant, irritable, cold. She'd pick fights, accuse me of being too friendly with female coworkers, women I barely spoke to and who were, in fact, all married themselves. I chalked it up to stress. Maybe she missed her old life, her independence. Still, I called her whenever I could, tried to show affection, tried to bring us back to what we once were. But the more I tried, the further she pulled away. About a year passed like that. Then Eliza said she wanted to start her own business, offering freelance cosmetology services. Made sense. She had a background in skincare and had always been interested in beauty. We supported her idea. We bought a small cottage on the outskirts of the city where she could host clients. Around the same time, Aiden started school, and things seemed to be looking up again. The tension began to ease. We laughed more. Oh, more. The spark flickered back to life. Then came the call that shattered it all. My boss asked me to lead a short business trip, just a week, to assist a branch in a neighboring city with a server installation. I agreed. Sounded straightforward. I took 2 of my best team members with me, confident we'd be done early. We arrived, were greeted warmly, and politely declined the usual welcome party. We dove right into work. My guys were sharp, they didn't need micromanaging. So I found myself chatting with one of the local managers, just passing time. We got onto the topic of houses, and I couldn't help but mention the new cottage Eliza and I had bought. It was a gated property in a quiet neighborhood. I even boasted a bit. It had a security camera at the entrance, and our cottage was clearly visible from it. As I pulled out my laptop and connected to the feed, I expected to see an empty yard. But there it was, my car. I stared, confused. It was Thursday. Eliza never mentioned going to the cottage. And who visits a remote place like that in the middle of the workweek? I dialed her immediately. She didn't pick up. Second attempt. Nothing. Third time she answered. Hey babe. What's going on? I asked, trying to stay casual. I'm swamped at work, Marcus, she replied quickly. I really can't talk right now. I'll call you later, okay? Blick. She sounded annoyed. Like I was the one being unreasonable. But the image from the security camera didn't lie. Her car was there, parked near the porch. At first, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was meeting clients there. Maybe it was just easier than working in the city. Still, the pit in my stomach grew heavier. I called her mother next, grasping for some clarity. Hi Irene, I said. How are you? How's everything back home? Great, Marcus. Though I thought you were the one at the cottage doing renovations. That's what Eliza told me. She said you took Aiden for the week so she could focus on work. Froze. She said I was there. I repeated. Of course. Eliza said you both needed a break. Aiden's with me now. Why? Everything clicked in that moment, and then everything fell apart. I hung up and called Eliza again. This time she ignored every call. That evening my co-workers noticed I wasn't myself. One of them, Nick, the local manager, sat with me after work. What's eating you up, man? I told him everything. The strange lies. Camera. Car. Her cold attitude. The silence. Nick leaned back, took a sip of his drink and said, Well, Marcus, if I were you, I'd stop wondering and just go. Let the techs handle things here. You and I grab a driver and check out this cottage for ourselves. By morning we were on the road. Took nearly 6 hours. Every 30 minutes I checked the camera feed. Eliza's car never left. When we arrived, the car was still there. My hands shook as I stepped out. I called her again. Hi, Marcus. What now? She snapped. You didn't call me back yesterday. I've been worried. Are you okay? I'm busy, Marcus. I've got a million things going on. Aiden's with Mom. I'm running errands. I'll call you later. That was it. I stormed toward the door. Inside I found her, in a silk robe, holding a glass of wine. Sitting beside her was a man I had never seen in my life, shirtless and far too comfortable on my couch. I lost control. The stress, the suspicion, the lies. It all boiled over. I don't remember the exact details. I only remember being pulled away. Soaked with cold water Nick had dumped over me to stop me from doing something I'd regret. The next day I packed my things. I returned home, hired a lawyer and filed for divorce. I've taken full custody of Aiden. He's with me now. Eliza. She hasn't tried to explain. She knows there's nothing left to say. As for me, I'm trying to heal. Nick, funny enough, keeps telling me his sister's single. But I'm not ready for anything like that. Not yet. Maybe someday. But for now it's just me and my son. And that's enough.